What's up, everybody? This is D-House here with Mike, and we are the Jedi Oh, dang it. I'm sorry. We are Unplayable, here to talk about our favorite Star Wars card game, Star Wars Unlimited. Mike, the Rebel Spy, is here. The guy, the bane to my existence, the Hans Gruber to my John McClane. How are you doing, buddy?
I thought I was John McClane this whole time.
Nope.
Wow.
I'm the hero.
That hurts.
I'm the hero.
I think I'm actually okay with being the villain, so yeah, I'm good.
I'm just out here trying to record some Christmas cheer, and you're just slaughtering me the whole time. I feel like if that's not an underdog story for John McClane,
we're setting up a narrative. It's very simple. You have to lose so that people want you to win, and then in the end, you still lose.
Yeah. I told you this before we recorded, but I'm trying to drop as many Christmas games as I can so that when the Galactic Championship shows up in 2025, people will think I'm a real scrub at this game, and totally underestimate.
It's all psyops.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, what are we doing here? We are recording something not crazy innovative or anything, but we kind of just said, hey, we miss kind of podcasting about specific game and just being able to go deep and have conversations about the game that aren't necessarily tied to spoilers or tied to a game, where we can just kind of ramble a little bit, and maybe a few of you will enjoy it. I joked about it already, but Mike and I used to co-host the Jedi Trials back in the day for Star Wars Destiny, and so it just feels like getting back in the saddle again.
Yeah,
in the old rank horse saddle for Boba Fett. So anyway,
or whatever it was that Queel rode in Mando.
Oh yeah,
the like thing with just a mouth. I know it had eyes and nose and stuff. It was basically just a mouth on legs.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like a tadpole on legs, basically.
It really was. It kind of was. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna just spend some time talking about Star Wars Limited, and I'm sure Jay and Jim will join us on some of these. We just time wise, we couldn't line it up, so we just said we'll just kick this off. And so we don't necessarily have like a name for this. This is just Unplayable Swoocast,
pretty much,
whatever, the Star Wars Unlimited edition. We're just going all in on this, so you can listen to it on the podcast feed if you want, if you're on your commute, or you can watch on YouTube or whatever you so desire. Mike, how are you feeling about the game right now? It's what, I don't know what the date is. It is December 11th, 2023. Yes. How are you feeling?
I'm incredibly excited for this game, as you well know. But yeah, I'm just excited. I don't know. There is no but.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with but? But I'm out.
I was trying to make it dramatic.
Okay.
But no, there is no but. I'm just very excited about the game. I want it to be out. I want to be playing it with people in person. I actually printed out some physical proxies and played some games against my brother a couple weekends ago, and it was so much more fun to play in person than it is to play on TTS. I cannot wait.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird, like having played so much on TTS to converting back to that. I need to actually physically build a deck. Like I can't just like copy and paste the URL.
I have to paste from SWDB and just
I need this. I need sleeves. Oh gosh, I
actually bought 10 of these things. Let me see if I can grab one real quick. I bought these GameGenic 50 card boxes, and I wanted to see if the these guys, the slide cases or whatever that they make, fit into them, and they do. So I'm hoping that I can just like store all my decks in these things and just bring like a big like box of decks whenever I go to play and have stuff for other people to play with.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited about this. If you're listening on audio, you can't see what I'm showing the camera. So
the sound of the cases was very fun to listen to. So
that's good.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah, I think I think for me, same. I'm so excited about this game. I have a terrible record because of you over the last few weeks. But I said this in Discord, or I tweeted, I don't remember, but you love a game when you can take a bunch of losses and it just makes you want to play more. Like it's like, okay, no, I'm figuring things out. What did Inception say? There's no bad decisions. There's just discovering different choices, or so. I don't know. He said something. He said it more eloquently in the Discord, but I was like, that's funny.
I totally agree, though. It's like this stage should be all about exploration, right? It's like the game's not even out yet, so who cares? There's nothing on the line for these games. Just make plays and see what happens, and eventually learn what's a good play, what's not a good play, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I do think it is definitely a sign of a good game where, you know, if you're losing, you're still having fun, or at least you still want to try again and like keep going back and keep playing. So
yeah,
this definitely has that. Every time I lose, I'm like, no, let's play right now.
Yeah. Like in some games I lose and I'm like, whatever, moving on to the next thing, and we record content. And like, this is the first game where I'm going back and I'm watching my decisions, and I'm
you're like, oh, if I'd only done this, or if I'd only resourced this way.
Why did you do that? So yeah, so I've looked at it, and it makes me, okay, I should take this out of the deck. I should put this in, or like if I was sideboarding, what would I run? If we were going to game 2, how would that affect how I do this? So yeah, it's definitely approaching what I felt like in Destiny when we were playing so much, where it just was like, okay, let's shuffle up and play again. Let me fix a couple things, or let's whatever.
Yeah, so I love that games are fast enough too that you can really do that.
Yeah,
because if this was the LCG, or if this was some other longer games that lasted like 45, if this was Flesh and Blood, it's like I don't really want to play another game of Flesh and Blood after I finish a game of Flesh and Blood, because it's so long and it's such a slog that I don't know. I like the pacing of this game a lot, and yeah, it really just like it lends itself to the like, oh, just one more game kind of mentality. I love that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I gotta give a shout out. I mentioned Inception, but Garbage Rollers on YouTube, they were uploading videos, but then they switched to playing best of 3, and even their best of 3 videos are coming in at 25 minutes,
like 20 minutes,
30 minutes. Like some even shorter than that, and because I think the more you play, the more you reach a point where you're like, okay, this is clearly going to end in a loss. I don't mind scooping and resetting to play the next game or whatever. So watching them do this, and like guys who are clearly playing a lot of games, and makes me excited for. I mean, I'm definitely more casual player, and I think that's always going to be what I'm most excited for. But the competitive environment and some of those, like, okay, how's this going to work with streaming and all that? Watching them jam those quick games is fun. So I'm super high on the game. I also printed off just the starter deck proxy once, and I'm slowly playing with different people around here and just saying like, hey, what do you think about this game? And I'm talking to a lot of guys who love Star Wars who don't have as much history around games. So talking about pre-ordering a game like like a box being $90-$100 is like, wait, what?
Like, oh wow.
And so I'm like, yeah. Like, but it's gonna be worth it.
You can get them in on draft or on pre-release. Like, those are some good opportunities for that type of person, I feel like.
Yeah.
Once you understand it, I feel like you're in, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think coming to a pre-release and like you get those 6 packs and the Luke and Vader, and you build, and then you're like, wait, but I want more, and then you start to get the feel for the game.
Yeah, you got to just start giving booster packs to friends who you want to get into the game. Just the first hit's always free,
dude. I mean, that's pretty much what I did with Keyforge for years. I had so many extra decks.
You just give out a deck, right?
I said, hey, we'll sit and play, and I'm like, and by the way, that deck is yours to keep, and and that's just how we.
That's great.
The problem with it, though, is you're going to give away a pack that has a showcase, leader in it, and you're just going to.
You have to just be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. It's
like you just have to like just promise me if you open this.
Well, okay, that person's definitely in though.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and by the way, that card's worth $400. And they're like, oh wow.
Yeah, like enjoy this gift. If you don't get into this game, our friendship is over now. Thank you. That's what always makes me worry. And honestly,
that's so.
I started to get in Keyforge for like Christmas and stuff. I would like gift someone a deck who is like moderately into the games or whatever, and every deck I gifted ended up being like an absolute banger of a deck. Like it happened multiple times. I had like a Twitter thread where I was like, these are all the decks I've given to people as like amazing gifts. And then I go back to them like, hey, can I borrow that for an event for something,
Yeah.
So it does worry me a little bit about gifting, but I do wish this is where like with it being Christmas time, like stocking stuffer, like just
that's gonna be. I mean, yeah. Sadly, we can't do that this year, but next year, it's on.
Well, or can we, Mike?
Oh yeah. Well, if anybody's watching this and is just like unaware of what has been going on our channel somehow.
Yeah.
Give like a 30-second explanation of the 12 days of Swoo Christmas.
Yes. All right. So basically for the month of December, I want to do something fun with Star Wars Unlimited, and I love Christmas. So we're doing the 12 days of Christmas. So I wrapped up all the leaders and I wrapped up all the bases. And so for each video, it's one day of Christmas, and we open one base and one leader. And then I just have to build a deck with that base and leader. And then I have to get slaughtered by Mike. This is the expectation of the of the video. So I don't play any practice games. I literally just build it and play it.
You've gotten a couple of cheeky wins in there.
Yeah. But anyways, it's been super fun. It's definitely stretched me to think like, okay, I would never normally play Green Inquisitor at the security complex. So what would I do, and how would I do this? And but it has been so fun that I've gotten a lot of.
Sorry, I've lost focus, both mentally and my camera. So I'm trying to regain it. It's trying to focus on my background for some reason. But
that's funny.
Yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was like, yeah, I've gotten a lot of like nice messages, privately from people, or accidentally before an FFG live stream when the mics are hot about the content. So thank you, Xander. And it's been fun. So I'm already in my head. I'm already thinking this is going to be an annual tradition. Like I'm thinking about like next year when we have theoretically 3 sets worth of leaders.
That's going to be, you're going to have to do all 30 days, all 31 days.
Like, cause what if we have, they said there's 18 leaders in set 1. So if there's 18 in each of them, that's 36
that's in only 2 sets, right? 36 in only 2 sets.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. What am I?
So,
math. I hate math.
if there's 3 sets out by the end of next year, are there gonna be 3 or 4?
There's gonna be 3 sets. It's every 4 months.
Okay,
so it's supposed to be March.
42 set. 42
March,
leaders,
July, and November. Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll do, or I'll just do the set 3 because everyone will be high on set 3. So maybe I'll just do set 3, or
maybe.
Who knows? But anyways, it's been a fun way to do things. And yeah. So, well, why don't we do this, since this is sort of like our inaugural kind of Swoo chat, or whatever we want to call this. Talk to me about what are your favorite leader or 2 so far. Obviously we only have, I don't know, 60% of the set 1 revealed. So there's still a lot we don't know, but at this point in time,
how many leaders do we not know?
That's
3 or 4.
I think
we're missing a blue hero leader. We're missing a green villain leader, and we're missing a red hero leader.
Yeah, red hero leader.
Is
that 3?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. And that's assuming every color and hero villain each has 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be we're 15 out of 18. So we got 3 left to go.
All right. So do you want my favorite 1 leader, or let's just stick with 1. That way it's a harder decision, and it really will say something about who you are.
Okay.
So my current favorite leader is Han, and I've been mostly playing Han with red, although I have also enjoyed playing Han with blue, especially now that Luke has been revealed. And I love the sort of, it's sort of gambly, right? It's like you're trying to gain an advantage in a specific moment and hoping that your opponent can't disrupt you while you're doing it, in order to like really pull out ahead on tempo and value in the game as a whole, right? So the classic example is on turn 4, you have 5 resources. You use Han's ability to bring a card from your hand into your resources, and then you flip Han and attack with him and bring another one into your resources. So you have 7, and you can play Luke or Mace or Han and get, huge tempo advantage. And there's so many other little tiny decisions that you can make all the way up to that point. Like turn 1, do you use Han's ability so you can play a 3-cost card? What 3-cost cards are worth doing that for? Or what matchups is it worth doing that in? Do you keep cards in your hand and not do it until you hit that turn 4? Like, are you playing against something that doesn't have the ability to really disrupt your ability to do that? Or are you playing against double yellow Boba and you have to worry about cunning and waylay and all the exhaust, things, and maybe you don't go towards that strategy and you try and weigh your decisions more towards powerful early game. Maybe you're playing into a control matchup and you feel like you can, potentially play a better control game than your opponent. I think there's so many different ways that you can sort of play into your opponent with that deck. It's so flexible. It can kind of be whatever you need it to be in that moment. And I have a lot of fun with that because it means that every game is completely different, and that keeps my attention more than other decks so far have.
Which honestly, it's so fun to hear you talk about it because Han is probably my least favorite to play with.
So I'm so curious to hear who your favorite is because I wonder if it'll be my least favorite. Well, it can't be my least favorite because I don't think Hera's your favorite leader.
No, Hera's not my favorite. She could be in the future, honestly. Like once we get full Spectre,
once we get more Spectres,
whatever, we'll see. So yeah, because you're keeping me to one, I think the most fun I've had playing this game is with Krennic.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, which I never thought I'd say. I thought I would be Chewbacca, Leia, Sabine, one of those.
Tell me what you like so much about Krennic.
So Krennic, I think Krennic allows you to play ramp in a unique way because of his restore, because of his health, and because of the stuff that just comes in blue villain. So you can play those big spicy vehicles. And I think when capital ships are on the board, I just feel like this is so Star Wars right now. Yes.
So you're playing it with green? Yeah,
mostly playing with green. I haven't tried it with red. I think, having the resupplies and the super laser techs is pretty essential. I don't know what
pretty crazy good cards.
And I don't even know what a Krennic yellow deck would look or feel like, because also just the fact that he has this passive ability that damaged units get +1 +0. Sometimes you can punish your opponent for not thinking through, or like oh shoot, I forgot this thing, or when you've got Veers and this on board, it's very interesting. But I love specifically playing like Krennic ramp where you can, I'm looking at the deck list, but at 5 you're usually dropping like a Callus. At 6 you've got this Academy Defense Walker, which is giving experience tokens to your friendly damage units, which is also beefing them up a little bit. At 7 you can hit Dooku. At 9 you've got Relentless. At 10 Devastator. And now we got the Avenger. I haven't even played the Avenger yet, which again, this may seem, it may all be like Magical Christmas Land kind of stuff. Because stuff like, you drop the Devastator and then you entrench it, and it's like, okay, I paid 10 resources to kill something, which is definitely a thing. So I'm aware of that, but it's just every time I played it, it just feels right. It gives you access to the cards like Takedown, and again, not Krennic himself, but the Krennic ramp, like Overwhelming Barrage. Some of the cards that just feel powerful. And not straight aggro, because I think when I've tried to play aggro in this game, and I think it's just a learning curve. I think I need to learn how to play aggro in this game where it doesn't peter out, where I get to I'm like, I'm almost there, but then if you get almost there and then they stabilize, and then it's like I play a unit, dies, and there's no damage out of hand to just finish the game. So so I like more of I just have constant threats coming out of hand with Piet ambushing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think Krennic.
That is funny. Krennic is probably one of the leaders I've played the least. I think the leaders that I've played the least so far is Krennic, Jin. Iden just came out, so that doesn't count. But those two I really haven't played much of at all. I've never played Jin before. I've played maybe 2 games with Krennic when he was first spoiled way back. Yeah. But yeah.
I even like just like valuable units like Death Trooper. I mean, there's obvious synergy between them and Death Trooper, because Death Trooper can come, it can nuke a unit, and then it's also beefier because of Krennic. So some of those like really small value adds I think are really strong. So I am curious. I'm like, how would this deck feel with Iden instead of Krennic? Because Iden can theoretically heal, but I think if Krennic gets off 2 attacks, and Krennic usually gets off about 2 attacks before he dies, but and then you're restoring 4, But I also don't mind throwing Entrenched on Krennic and just being like,
sure.
okay, I'm a 5'10",
Yeah,
and so
like, okay, I win the ground now.
yeah. So if you go to space, then it's like, all right, well, here's some big vehicles to deal with. So yeah, he's been fun. So
Okay.
you said your least favorite is Hera?
Probably.
Interesting.
Probably so far. I think she just doesn't do anything. Like I really wish that she had some ability on her leader side.
Yeah.
Because
Beyond
it
the
just
deck building.
feels bad to not. Yeah, like the only thing you're getting is a deck building buff. And it's not even that good. Like the Spectre units are cool, but they don't particularly synergize with each other right now. So
yeah.
Maybe in the future that'll change. But as of now, they just kind of like you're adding slightly better units to your deck than maybe you would have otherwise been able to. But there's not really a huge reason to run double green as of now. I don't think Cunning or Command is like okay, but I think it's the worst of the like double aspect named trait cards or aspect cards.
I think Command would be so much better if they didn't have that stipulation of the damage to a non-unique unit. I don't understand why that was necessary.
Like, everybody's playing unique units. Like there aren't that many powerful things that you would want to target with that anyway. So yeah, I would agree with you. I think attack pattern delta as well is like fine, but I don't think it's worth going double green for. So it's like with Hera, you're already like, let's say you're going red, right? You already would have had access to Sabine, so you wouldn't even have needed her ability. And the fact that she comes out as what, a 4/6 on 6 with, I mean, she can give experience to unique units, but it's so easy to play around. Every time I've played against Hera, you just kill your opponent's unique units, and then Hera's just a sad 4/6 that doesn't really do that much for you. Like compare it to Boba, does so much more than Hera, like an insane amount more than Hera. Yeah, I wish she was more interesting in general, and I wish that maybe there's like a Spectre card that comes out that like really ties it all together nicely, and you're like, okay, now I get it. That could still happen, but as of now, I don't think that it makes a ton of sense to.
So basically, we need like a Power Rangers kind of card that says if you have.
It's like, I mean, imagine like
cards.
something like something like that, or something like Metal Ceremony, but for Spectre units, where it's like, you know, each of your Spectre units gains a shield and gains +1/+1/+1 for the phase, something like that, right? I think those are the scenarios that would make it worth doing, but we don't have that now, and so for now, she's my least favorite.
Yeah. Well, give us the rest of the Spectre units. Let's see what we got.
Yeah,
because I'm with you. I can't wait to see. I'm glad they included like Spectre Rebel stuff in set 1.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they're super fun. And I guess Hera, again, it makes it so every set that releases after this.
Yeah, you do have to think about
a Spectre card. It goes yeah. That's
I do like that.
Yeah, I think Han is definitely my least favorite right now. I think IG-88 is pretty darn close.
IG-88 is just bad. Like I think he might be worse than Hera, but he's not my least favorite because at least he like there's something fun that you can do with him, at least for me, right? Other people might have a lot of fun with Hera, and I don't want to like discount other people's experience with the game. But yeah, I think like the puzzle of IG-88 of can I get enough units on the board before my opponent can so that I can flip and do some crazy, raid, like give everything raid and attack for a bunch. Like that's a fun puzzle to try and solve, even if it's potentially unsolvable. But yeah, I don't know. He's definitely bad. He's probably the worst leader in my opinion.
Yeah. I think I did this in one of the Christmas videos when I had to play IG-88. I basically just said, I'm just going to ignore him and pretend
he's just a red herring.
He's literally just a distraction.
I thought that was super clever. I actually really liked that.
So I was like, I had to run it with green. So I'm like, I'm just going to ramp into my big vehicle. So you're worried about me spawning a bunch of units, and you got to kill something that hits for 5 because he hits for 5 is decent. That's above average.
A good chunk. And in that game, you flipped IG-88, and I instantly open fired.
Yeah. Which I was like, well, that's what he
was here for.
What you have to do.
Is that interesting? Technically, like, is that card advantage? Maybe not, because your opponent also gets a leader. But like, if you flip your leader and it requires a card from your opponent, I'm thinking like is that good enough? But I don't think it is, because then they also get a leader and you have to answer that leader and then you're even.
Yeah. It just makes me sad because I love IG-88. There was in when I played X-Wing and IG-88 came out,
yeah,
and IG-2000, like because they had IG-88 A, B, C, and D, like there were like 4 versions of it,
and then like so, they talked to each other, sort of, right? Like they gave each other buffs.
They gave each other the other one's ability if they were together, and so they called them Brobots. It was the name of the list, which it was. So Brobots was like a normal thing. So you saw IG-88 dominating in this, and I enjoyed that season of because Boba Fett, when Boba Fett was released in X-Wing, he was just bad. Okay, like just you did not see any Boba Fett lists like that were casual.
Very different in this game.
Yes, yeah. So there, I can see. I mean, and Jeremy's talked about this in one of his interviews about like how Boba Fett was. He just said he's like pushed in power for reasons. So it's like, okay, we want Boba Fett on the table in a Star Wars game. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Those are reasons. So yeah. Do you have any predictions? I mentioned Boba Fett, but do you have any predictions for like early meta? Like if you had a store showdown with just the leaders that we've seen, like what are you going to that store showdown a month after release? If again, this is all contextual. We don't have all the cards. Based on what you've seen, what are you like? Okay, I got to be prepared for this.
Ooh, like not what am I bringing, but what would I need to watch out for? I think,
what would you be preparing for?
I think people seem to like Vader with green specifically. It won some recent small tournament, but yeah, I think like some kind of villain ramp with either red or blue. I would assume. Yeah, some kind of hero aggro, either Leia or Sabine, with probably yellow, I would imagine.
Yeah. Surprise strike and shoot first are pretty aggro.
Quite good. And probably also Luke with almost any color combination. Maybe not Luke red, but I think all the other color combinations make sense. I don't know. Yep. Red's interesting. You could do like A-wings and be a little bit more aggressive. You could do red 3 with Luke. That'd be pretty cool. Do red 3 and shield red 3 on turn 4 on turn 3. That'd be fun. But yeah, I think those are probably like the leaders that I would be trying to expect, or that I would be expecting. Probably Boba as well, like Boba with red or green or yellow.
Yeah, I was gonna say you mentioned a few, but
did I miss one?
No. I think that's it. I was just thinking Boba Fett.
So I almost missed Boba Fett, but yeah.
So you Boba Fett. Where? You mentioned the tournament. So on TTS there was a small tournament. They made it cap at 16, and then 2 players dropped at the last minute. So I think it ended up being 14. And I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I think it was like 7 Boba Fetts. Yeah, so I think 50% of the field was Boba Fett with
green, right?
It was Boba green. Yeah, there were a couple reds. I think I don't remember any blues. And I don't remember any yellows.
This was like a month ago too, so the card pool has changed quite a bit.
Right. That's the stage we're at. We're like, this is all fake meta, but it's interesting to learn card pool. But so Boba Fett was a very popular, and it was I think at the top cut it was like 3 Bobas and 1 Vader, and Vader ended up winning it. That Vader ramp deck that you're talking about.
Yeah, Vader. I feel like if your draws line up and you mulligan correctly, and you can ramp twice and get Vader out 2 turns early, it's really hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because he's very powerful, and that's a lot of stats to get through that early in the game.
Yeah, like if you just in the Vader matchup, it just feels like it like builds to this crescendo, and it's like on that turn, like when he's deploying, like if you don't have an answer quickly, I mean, if he doesn't have a lightsaber, you're okay, I guess. Most of the times he has one of the lightsabers, but I haven't even seen Vader with a lot of like Admiral Mahdi for the reset. Oh, sure. Like I thought that was going to be something, but I haven't seen that a lot in people's takes on Vader.
Probably don't need it, right? Like if you're sticking Vader and he's attacking multiple times, even across multiple turns, like you're still good. I feel like if you're going for the Mahdi sort of reset, like almost OTK-esque style of Vader, you're probably a little bit more aggressive than what people have been playing it with.
Yeah. So it does feel like, and it's very thematic too. Like not a lot of people are sitting here thinking, okay, how do I one shot Vader at 8 health? Like that's pretty tough unless you got surprise strike with something big. I mean, you gotta have a lot to go at it, but a lot of people are just trying to ignore him or like slow, like no
just
good to
keep
be
him
dead.
exhausted or something.
Asteroid
No
Sanctuary,
great. Yeah,
Leia.
Yeah.
Which again is sort of like the movies. It's like we can't
just avoid him.
Do anything about Vader.
Keep him over there.
Yeah, just keep him occupied with some like rebel troopers in a hallway, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, for sure.
So in that way, like a lot of the thematic designs around a lot of these characters, you can tell they put a lot of attention into how do they make that.
I love that.
Make sense.
I love that because it does feel like Vader feels incredibly imposing when he flips over on the other side of the table. Yeah. That's awesome.
Side note, I taught my neighbor how to play, and he and his boys, they're, I don't know, probably I think 11 and 7 or something like that, or 11 and 8. But so he ended up printing out his own proxies after I taught him. And then one of his sons came up to me yesterday and was like, "You'll never believe it. I got 3 Vader's lightsabers on Vader and I destroyed my dad." It's like, dude, that's so great.
You didn't have the heart to tell him that you can't do it.
Yeah, I didn't tell him. I told the dad later.
I wouldn't have either.
I was like, "Hey, Frank, you can't do that." He's like, "Oh." Because how insane would that be? Like, Vader savior, Vader savior, Vader savior.
Yeah.
Just nuking stuff.
That's great.
So, awesome. All right, I think that'll do it for this episode 1 of the Unplayable, Unlimited, Unlistenable Shootcast. If
Definitely
you got some
at least
great,
one of those things.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get Jay and Jim on next one. I don't know how often we'll do this. I think Mike and I are just obsessed with the game and we just want to talk about it all the time. So
yeah.
So speaking of which, if you are somehow, if you stumbled into this and you're not in our Discord, jump into our Discord. There's probably a link below because Mike's really good at that. And you can come talk Star Wars Unlimited with us in Discord. We got lots of great people in there chatting about the game. So, but other than that, Mike, final send-off thoughts for people?
Thank you for listening. If you guys want to hear us talk about anything specific, let us know so that we don't have to think about what we talk about and you can just tell us.
Love it. Awesome. All right, guys, until next time, may the Force be with you.
Bye.